Welcome to the World Class Speaking podcast series. This is a place where you will learn how to present, persuade, and profit by improving your communication skills. Each episode in the series is a chapter from the book World Class Speaking in Action. And each chapter is written by a certified world class speaking coach. I'm your host, Matt Miller, and I've carefully crafted and summarized each chapter in the book. Do you feel like you have a message deep inside you that you want to share, or a signature story that you think could change others' lives? Do you want to know the best process to uncover the details in your message, which will lead to your very best presentation, so that you can have the greatest impact and influence on other people? This episode will do just that. This is episode 11, it's part 3, and it is entitled The True Message Behind the Story. And it is by Jennifer Leone. And Jennifer Leone is a certified world class speaking coach and also Australia's first specialized signature story speech coach, helping speakers uncover the true intent and message in their stories. So, why is this important? Well, knowing the true message behind your story is valuable and important because when you are your true, authentic self, you will create the greatest connection with others. And in this episode, we're going to talk about how you need to find your why. Your why is very important because on bad days, that why is going to get you through. And then on good days, it's going to propel you further even more. And when I say why, it's what defines you, like what defines why you're doing what you're doing. Like in a signature story, there's always a defining moment that defines who you are and why you do what you do. And your why is also known as your purpose. It's your reason that you're speaking or the reason that you're doing something. Your why is also your motivation. Now that we know what the why is, how do we discover what our why is? Well, you can do that by asking yourself the question, take me back to a moment when, and return to the scene of something important that happened in your life, and then describe it using all five senses in detail. What did you feel? What did you hear? What did you see? What did you touch? What did you smell? Think about all those descriptors and then paint that picture in your head and put yourself back in the scene. And the purpose is to dig deeper to help you discover nuances that you didn't even think of. So, to summarize those last few sentences, think of a moment in your life that was life changing, or think of a signature time that you felt a certain way, or think about one of your life defining moments. Because in the structure of a story, you have a series of facts, characters, plots, dialogue, narration, circumstances. And in the midst of it, you have a point, a message, a purpose. But when you look further, the true message of why you do what you do and the effect it has on you and the people around you emerges. Okay, that was a mouthful, but the clues to your purpose are found in the why of your signature story. When you're trying to understand your why, become the detective, ask questions, return to the scene and the moment in time, recall the scene in detail, and really work on peeling back the layers. Now, let me give you an example of how I discovered my why. And simply, I asked myself why a series of times. Here's the example. So, the reason I summarized this book, World Class Speaking in Actions, this book right here, and the reason that I'm doing this podcast series is the following. So before I even did this, I said, why am I even doing this? What's the point of it? What's the benefit? Does it bring me happiness? Does it make me smarter? What does it do? And I thought about it. And the first thing that came to mind was, well, I read this book and there were so many cool takeaways. And I didn't want to keep that knowledge in my head, but I wanted to share it with other people. So the first thing I wrote down was, I want to share with you the key points of becoming a great communicator. But that wasn't the true why of why I'm doing this podcast. I dug a little bit deeper and I asked myself, why? It's like, why do I want to share with other people the key points of becoming a great communicator? Well, because I want to understand and memorize the key points for myself. Because by giving these key points in a podcast series, I'm teaching, which helps me memorize it. So then I thought, that's why I'm doing it. Then I asked myself, is that really the deep why? So I asked myself the why again. And then I came up with, well, I want to be able to practice and utilize the key points. So not only do I want to memorize them, but I want to utilize these key points. Well, why do I want to utilize these key points? I want to be an effective communicator, presenter, and teacher. Why do I want to be an effective communicator, presenter, and teacher? Because I want to become a professional speaker. Now we're getting somewhere. I want to become a professional speaker. Maybe that's why I'm doing this podcast series. But why do I want to become a professional speaker? Because I want to share and teach my message, my points, and my purpose with others. Oh, so now we're getting even deeper. But why do I want to share and teach my message, points, and purpose with others? Well, I want to impact others by motivating and inspiring them to be the best version of themselves. So when I went down the whole list of whys, I started with, I want to share with you the key points of becoming a great communicator. But as I dug deeper, the real root of why I'm doing this is because I want to impact other people by motivating and inspiring them to be the best version of themselves. And that's my why for doing this podcast episode. And then to recap this podcast episode, you must find the why of the story and the message in order to tell a memorable story. In a signature story, there's always a defining moment that defines who you are and why you do what you do. We also talked about the importance of uncovering your deep why, because that's going to get you through on those bad days and excel you forward on those good days. And then lastly, the clues of your purpose are found in the why of your signature story. And now that you know the importance of finding the true importance behind your story, what is your defining moment that translates into your signature story? What is a turning point in your life that reveals your why and your true message? I encourage everybody to do that same exercise that I did, and I call it the 5 why. Ask yourself the question why at least 5 times, just like I shared earlier. All you have to do is ask yourself why and keep digging deeper. I think in my example, I used 7 whys. So you can use as many whys as you need to uncover the true root cause of what you're doing, why and why you're doing it. And however, this will ultimately help you dig deeper on what you're doing and why you're doing it. And then in the next episode, you'll learn the parts formula to help you create compelling content, avoid data dumping, and offer value to your audience. Stay tuned. That's all we've got for this episode on the World Class Speaking podcast series. Until next time, remember that becoming a great communicator is so important because it leads to greater impact, influence, and income. Thank you for listening and have a great day.